wrong. Rewrote the song. Thoughts become action. Tell me what's happening. What's your mind wrapped in? Wrapped around. Wrapped around. Wrapped around.
Hi guys, welcome back to Click, and this is Im, and today we're going to go over my impressions of the Nexus 6P. Also at the end of the video in the back we will go over some of the cases, as you can see, and we'll try them out and I'll show you what they look like and I'll give you my opinions on each one. But we're going to be talking about the build, we're going to talk about the screen, some camera opinions, we're going to talk about the battery, and my overall opinion of the phone itself. And we're going to talk about some of the things that I don't like. And we'll put it all together and I'll give you my opinion of the phone and whether or not I think you should go out and get it. And if you should, what variant and color do I think would be the best. So let's get into it. Let's get started off by the build, okay? So the version that I have here is the matte gold color of the 6P, and it's a 64 gig version, and I'll just kind of give you a quick overview. Now, initially I had purchased a 128 gig frost white version, and then this one was launched here in Canada, so then I decided to sell my 128 and get the gold version, as I wasn't using all the storage anyway, and I'd rather have this gold variant over the white one. So that was my decision, and I'm sticking with it. So anyway, as you can see, everything is in in matte gold, and across the top, as well as the sides. Now sometimes this phone does look like a rose gold when you have it in a certain light, but under this light it's definitely looking like yellow gold. Now on the back here I have a dBrand carbon fiber skin, and this is in a black carbon fiber with just the X showing for the Nexus, and you can see the fingerprint scanner is also got a perfect cutout, as well as the camera module on the very top. Alright, so in terms of build, we've got Gorilla Glass 4 on the top in the front here, and we've got aluminium all around the rest of the unibody. Now the aluminium on the Huawei phones versus the aluminium on like the iPhone and the Galaxy series phones is different. The Huawei phones is a softer aluminium, kind of like the aluminium that was used in the making of the iPhone 6. So it is more prone to bending and scratches and scuffs. The Note series, like Note 5 and the GS7, GS6, they were definitely more sturdier and better built, as well as the iPhone 6s, and more resilient against scratches and scuffs for everyday use. So you got to be a bit more careful with these. In terms of the overall look and feel, there's no difference. It's just you got to understand this is a slightly softer metal than what was made with the other devices. So you just got to require a bit of extra care. Now in terms of build, like there's no rattle here for the volume. Great tactility, you know, up and down, and power as well. Completely, you know, great. There's no issues in terms of gaps overall on the build of the phone. So definitely have no issues in regards to build quality. So I definitely recommend it on that front. So now on the back here we have a 13 megapixel ultra pixel camera, and again it takes great pictures during the day. It takes good pictures at night. I would say this is the best Nexus camera to date. I've had all the Nexus phones over the last 3 to 4 years. I can't say I've had every single Nexus phone, but I've had over the last 3-4 years. And this one, in terms of the camera, even the build and all that, it's been the best one to date. So, you know, for your general purpose photo taking, it would definitely serve its purpose. Now, I'm not a photographer. I've said this before in my other videos. So, you know, I need to grab a shot of my kid or a shot of my car, or, you know, something that I've seen that I find interesting. I just want to be able to point and shoot. So, you know, and this does the job. It captures the image, whether it's in low light, whether it's in bright light, whether it's in, you know, in a difficult lighting situation, like a sunset, for example. It does the job. So no issues on that front. Video, you can do up to 4K video, so no issues there either. Now, in terms of specs inside the phone, we've got the Snapdragon 810, which is an octa-core processor. And performance is fine. I mean, it's running stock Android, so it's super fast, super buttery. It's got 3 gig of RAM, and you know, I don't find any issues here with Marshmallow. Marshmallow is continuously being updated by Google. Every month we're getting a software update and patch. So, you know, it's running as fast as it has ever been since, and I've had this version here since January, so I've had it a few months now. And I'll show you regards to moving along with the software and stuff. It's definitely quick. The fingerprint scanner is super fast, as you can see there. Super fast. There's no delay whatsoever. And here again, guys, I run Nova on all my phones in terms of Android. So similar setup to my Note 5 and my Galaxy S7 Edge. Different icon pack, but generally, you know, a similar setup. This is how I like my phones to look. So, and you can see, you know, going through the apps and stuff, there's no delay in terms of opening and closing. You know, I mean, it's all pretty smooth and buttery. So if you go this way up here, we've got the settings. We can go down here and we'll have a look and see. We're running 6.0.1 with the latest update patch, security patch for April. And yeah, I mean, my one gripe here is in regards to the camera app. I wish it had a few extra features like some of the Samsung phones do, and even some of the offerings that iPhone and Apple has for their iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. A very basic camera app in regards to the one we have here for the Android phone, for the Nexus phone. Like pretty basic settings. You got a photosphere, panorama, lens blur, and that's it, and some settings. You want to get into video, you just swipe to your right and you get into your video, and that's it. So I wish we had a few extra features here that some of the other phones do offer. I think we would be able to take you know, a bit more advantage of the actual hardware, physical hardware that's in the back here. But I mean, that's the love of Android, is that you can download a camera app and away you go, right? And you can change it up. But I tend to like to stick to the OE camera apps and the OE messaging apps and stuff. So these are the things that I kind of like to see functionality in. And in the camera app here, functionality is very so-so. All right. So in terms of the screen here, we've got a 5.7-inch QHD display. You know, 2560 by 1440, great AMOLED display. I believe the display is similar to the Note 4 or 5. I think it's a Note 4. But colors are great. Accuracy of the blacks is fantastic, and it's not as bright as the Note 5 or the Galaxy S7 Edge in the sunlight, but definitely better than the Nexus 6 was, and definitely better than the 5X. So I would say it's moderate in terms of its daylight usage outside. You can definitely see what you're doing, but it's not as good as like an iPhone or a Galaxy S7 Edge. The S7 Edge and the S7 are really good in sunlight. I mean, so far, best phone to date in the sunlight, I would say, is the S7 Edge. I'd say that even beats out the iPhone 6. So now in terms of battery life, we've got Marshmallow here, so we've got the doze feature. I've got no issues with battery, day and a half, easy. I'm going through anywhere between 4 and 6 hours of screen on time, depending on how much YouTube I'm doing or if I'm recording anything and whatnot. So no issues in terms of battery. It's got a 3600 milliamp power pack in the back, and we've got the USB Type-C with quick charge, so charging it up isn't an issue either. And yeah, so I would pretty much recommend this usually Nexus devices I tend to recommend to advanced Android users, but in this particular case I would recommend this to pretty much any user who'd be looking to get like an iPhone 6 or a Samsung, LG. I definitely recommend this. And right now, actually, here in Canada, you can go out and get it at $0 on a 2-year contract. I believe through Bell. If I'm not mistaken, I was looking at Best Buy. So great deal. I mean, you're talking super high-end specs, great camera, great build, great battery, great screen. And for zero money in terms of a contract, I mean, right next to it was a GS7 Edge, which is very slightly better than this. And they wanted $499 on a 2-year contract for it. So it's a great phone. The only downside I see to this is, one is the softer metal. You got to be a little bit more careful with it. it tends to need to be cased up most of the time, and it's so beautiful, and it's a shame that it needs to be cased up all the time. But these chamfered edges are going to show wear pretty quick, and I've tried meticulously to try and look after it, because scratched up chamfers for me just doesn't work. I'd have to find a way to either get rid of the phone or clean up the chamfers. So, but I run this usually just like this. So you've got the skin on the back for protection. I've got a screen protector on this one, and this is because it's got no 2D glass, so I can put a glass screen protector without having that cheesy halo effect around the edge of the screen, not having the screen protector covering, it's only covering the screen portion. Like, it looks retarded on the iPhone. So as a result, I don't run one. But this case here in the back that I tend to run this setup with is actually an iPhone 6s case. There isn't one for the Huawei that Sena makes, so I've kind of adapted this one here, and it fits great. And I'll just show you quickly here. The fit going in is awesome. It's nice and snug. It doesn't fall out. It gets right to the very top here. Let me just show you. So there we go. So the fit is exact. Okay, it's right to the end, and there's no issues in terms of it falling out. And you just slide up and it pops out. So that's my daily setup in terms of how I use my phone. But in the back here, I've got some cases that I've picked up along the way as well for this one, and I'll show you which ones I like and which ones I don't really like, and which ones I'd recommend. So I kind of wish UAG made a case for this, but they don't. UAG, hello, if you're watching, please make a case for the 6P. I'd love to have one. So anyway, so the leather pouch by Sena, this is actually for the iPhone 6. We've adapted it for this particular phone. Now, this here is the Ringke Fusion case, and I've got it in the smoked, so the edges and the top around the camera are smoked out. But it's a clear back, designed to show off the, whatever color Nexus you have. Your headphone jack has a port coverage button, so you can press that in to cover it and stop it from having dust come in. And in terms of the look of the case, it looks great. There's a very little lay on the table. I've got a screen protector here, and you can see it's pretty much flush. It's got a great coverage for your buttons. All your ports are exposed as they should be. There we go. Okay, there's nothing on this side. There's a spot for a lanyard, and on the top for your headphones. There's a little cover for a dust cover for the headphone jack, and there's a little bit of branding here which says Ringke. Does it say Ringke? Yeah, I think it does. Oh wait, I don't know if it says Ringke. Hold on, guys. No, it's got some sort of security code. It says R121F5. I don't know. Anyways, it's got some sort of branding that's in there. But my gripe with this phone, and the reason why I don't use this phone, is the exact same reason. It's the same as having a glass back. And you can see, look, this was cleaned up before I had put it down. And just putting it on and touching it, it's getting all grimy and greasy. And it feels terrible to the touch after like 5 minutes. So even though it looks great and allows me to show the carbon back and the color through, it's just really grimy. It gets really grimy and greasy real fast, and I can't stand grimy and greasy feel in the hand in terms of a phone case. So off this goes. I've only used it once, and after that I haven't bothered. So my general go-to case is the Spigen Rugged Armor. This is a great case. It's a matte back with carbon accents. Goes well with my carbon wrap. Now, let's get this on. So all your ports are there. You've got your button for power, volume. Headphone jack is exposed, no cover here. And your USB on the bottom. Now, in terms of protection, you get a nice lip around the edge, and you have a matte back. So this allows you to handle it. Even if you have greasy hands, it's fine. It doesn't leave too many greasy fingerprints, and looks great and feels great after a long, busy day. So this is definitely my go-to case. Now, while I was in Best Buy here in Canada, I happened to see Huawei's OEM, like a thin fit kind of a case. And this is made by Huawei for the phone. And it's like a smoky white color, super thin. And I thought it would be a great addition because I like thin cases, so I picked it up. It was only 20 bucks. which is still high for a thin piece of plastic, but well, it is what it is. And here in Canada, we get dicked around, so in terms of pricing for our tech. So this is what it looks like. It smokes out the entire back. Feels great. My only gripe with this one is every once in a while, like this corner here, tends to feel like it's going to come loose. So in your hands, you get this weird feeling when you're handling it with this case. Other than that, if you don't mind that, it's a fantastic case. Looks great, super thin. Not a whole lot of protection, but looks good and allows you to be able to use the phone the way it was designed and intended. So definitely one I'd recommend if you're into thin cases. And the last one for today is the Poetic Affinity case, and this one looks great. My boy Floss, shout out to Flossie Carter, reviewed this case for the 6P, and I thought I'd pick it up based off his recommendation, and he was very right. Absolutely fantastically a win. This is definitely a go in his books and mine. So as you can see here, it's a clear back. Now this one here doesn't feel greasy, so I don't know what type of finish is on the back here, but feels much better in the hand, and the tiny rubber inlays here help a lot with that greasy texture. It doesn't allow you to get the grease all over the center. I don't know how it does it, but it's great. And the sides are super thin, so it doesn't make the phone overly bulky. And you get a little bit of a lay-on table design. And all your ports are cut out, and your buttons are covered for volume and power. And you're accessible for your camera and your fingerprint and your headphone jack. So this is definitely one of my new cases, which is going to be a go-to. Feels great, looks great, and one that I'd recommend for most people. So there it is, guys. That's my impressions on the 6P. As I was saying, I'd recommend this phone to your novice user all the way up to your power user. For anyone who's switching over to the Android ecosystem from iPhone or Windows. Is there a Windows anywhere anymore? Anyway, so definitely a phone I'd recommend. Build is great, battery's great, screen is great, camera's great. So definitely something that you want to keep in mind. So again, guys, appreciate you watching. Please subscribe. Please comment below if you have any questions. I will link the descriptions and the prices for the cases if any of you want to pick these up. And please do subscribe and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're all over the social media as well. And again, guys, thanks for watching. This is Im. Peace.